Hi, this is Aaron Dubinsky coming to you today from the Chut Shel Chesed Yeshiva in the beautiful holy city of Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, Israel, under the direction of our beloved rabbi and spiritual guide, Rabbi Shalom Arush. May Hashem bless him always. Well, it's World Cup time. Now, some of you have no idea what that means. Many of you do have an idea. You're enough of a sports fan to know this is the one time of year when all the best soccer players come together to see who's the best in the world. And oddly enough, it comes during the 3 weeks. So there's something to go with the soccer, with the 3 weeks. I like to look at the 3 weeks as like a warm-up game, getting you ready for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I know they're way, way out there in September. They're way, way out there in Tishrei. It's so far away you can hardly even think about it. But you're warming up. And that's what you have to do. Because nobody goes into a game cold. Nobody goes into a situation cold. If you were going into a business meeting, you would do several presentations that were warm-up presentations. There were ways to see how you could do a better job of making the presentation to whoever you're making it to. It's parcel of everything we do in life to make us good. Now, for example, let's make some analogies here. Now, when you go into to see a soccer game, one thing you're going to notice before anything else, these guys are in great shape. They're in great shape. They run, they jump, they roll, they fall, they get up as if it was nothing. Because to them it is nothing. And the reason why is because of the warm-ups they've been doing all their lives. The lifting of weights, the practicing they do. Now for us, what we do is every day we daven 3 times a day. And this is part of our warm-up. But it's not all of our warm-up. One of the biggest things that we have to be aware of, particularly this time of year, and when we do our Hibodadut, is Teshuvah. How important is Teshuvah? It's so important that our sages tell us, that Rashi tells us, that Teshuvah was created before the world was created because Hashem knew we would need to have it if the world was going to survive. What does Teshuvah do? How does it work? We know it's a way of making amends for something we've done wrong. But it's so much more than that. It also helps us move further ahead and further up the ladder so that we become a little bit more advanced each time we do it. And it's like there are 2 kinds that really bother me. One is the one that somebody says, I've fallen, but I don't think I don't want to do anything about it. I'm okay. This is okay. No, it's not okay. It's never okay. If there's something you need to do teshuvah for it, just do it. Belly up and do the teshuvah you need to do. It's important for you to do it. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Because there's another kind of teshuvah and a person who does it. And he looks at it and he says, oh my gosh, I've fallen so far. I can never get to the madrega where I was before. I can never reach the level I was before. And what they don't realize is not only can they reach that level, they can go beyond that level. It moves them to a higher level. It takes the avera that they did wrong, what they did wrong, and it makes it into a mitzvah they can put into their pocket. They can put it into their wallet. They can use it in the future. How does it work like that? The same way a bow and arrow works. If you have a bow and arrow, if you've ever used one, you hold the bow, you pull the arrow back. Why are you pulling the arrow back? You don't want it to go back. You want it to go out there. So you let it go, and it goes out there. Now, oddly enough, the further you pull it back, the farther it goes. So you see, it's the same thing with teshuvah. The further you've fallen, the higher you rise when you come back. It's an important concept, my friends. Very important to remember. It will take you and keep you moving further and further. Now, also in soccer, they have little exercises they do. And they bounce the ball on their knees and on their heads and on their feet and on their tush and anywhere else they can think to bounce it except for the hands, because the hands can't touch it. Okay, they even have rules in that. We have the same kind of thing every day. When we do our daily davening in the morning, we do tachnun. And in tachnun is a vidui, a confession. Now, this is good to know because I know there are some of you out there who say, but I don't do anything wrong. And I want to congratulate you on that. Not only do I want to congratulate you, I'd like to shake your hand, because rarely is somebody walking the face of the earth that does not have any kind of teshuvah to do. So this was put in just for you. Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu. Everything ends in nu. What does that mean? That we did it. Maybe you didn't do it. Maybe two guys on the other side of you did it. Maybe you all did it. But you at least cover yourself, even if you don't even know you've done it. And let's face it, there are times we do things and we don't know that we've done them, which is why it's always good to, on a frequent basis, like every night before going to bed, do a serious cheshbon nefesh. What have I done today? Have I done anything to hurt anybody? Have I done anything to put anybody down? Have I done anything wrong that I need to do teshuvah for? That gives us the food for tomorrow morning. We can sleep on it. We wake up in the morning, and when we do shamnu, bakadnu, kazalnu, debanu, dofi, we do all of the vidui. We can think about some of the things that we might have done wrong and start to do teshuvah for them. We also do teshuvah, of course, as you know, in our daily hibodedut. This, for us, is the bouncing of the ball on knees, on the feet, on the back, on the head. This is our practice as well. So now we're ready for the big game. We're getting ready for going into the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe. We're getting ready to get ready for Rosh Hashanah and for Yom Kippur. And we've got 3 weeks here to practice, doing the things we need to do, finding out what are the things we've done wrong that we need to work on, and giving ourselves a full month plus to work on them. This is great. It's terrific. It's like having a warm-up game before the game. For a soccer player, that's great. If you could play a 15-minute game before the game, how much more ready would he be when he gets into the game? Now, here's where some of us fall down. We start to do well, and we move ahead, and we can feel that we're making the teshuvah we need to make. We can feel it. We can feel we're getting closer to Hashem, that we're making a connection, saying the things we need to say, making penitence, so to speak, for all the things that we've done, and making up ways that we're going to do better, and giving ourselves the time between the 3 weeks and between Yamim Noraim to make the changes we promised Hashem we would make when we did our teshuvah. And we're doing this day in and day out. And then the 3 weeks pass. And now we have a little break. And many of us, this is where our downfall comes. We forget all the things we were doing. We said we did them during the 3 weeks. We'll do them again just before Rosh Hashanah, and we'll do better. We'll do better. We'll do better. But we're not doing better. We're doing what we did before we started the 3 weeks. We're back to basics. We're back to just getting ourselves in shape, getting ready to get ready. And that's not where we want to be, friends. We want to be in a position where we know we are making forward progress. It's kind of like a marathon. And soccer is much the same. If you're running a marathon, it's 26.2 miles. It's a long, long way to run. And there are 3 basic parts to the marathon. The first part is the beginning. Everything starts at the beginning. So do we. We start at the beginning, and we're charged. It's the 3 weeks, and we're thinking about it. We're charged up. We're ready to go. And then we get moving. But you can't keep that pace up for 26 miles. So you fall back to a position which is comfortable, which keeps you in competition with all the people around you. And that's what you're doing after the 3 weeks. You're just kind of treading water, so to speak. You're just trying to keep up. You just don't want to fall behind. And then we get to the final part of the marathon. And this is where we fall down, because we see, hey, there's a finish line. I can see it. I made it. I made it all the way. Well, no, you didn't make it all the way. You made it all the way to see the finish line. You forgot there's a whole bunch of guys standing behind you. They also see the finish line. Now, this is where a good runner comes up with his kick. That's what they call it. It's the kick. It's where you dig deep inside of you when you have no more to give, and you find more to give, and you run. And this is where we fall down sometimes, because we see the finish line and we say, hey, we're there. It's the finish line. We can take it easy. We can rest now. Well, again, my friends, We know Mashiach is not far away. He's coming. We talk about all the things we have to do to bring him here, all the work we have to do, all the teshuvah that needs to be done before he comes, because we can't do teshuvah after he comes because it's a meaningless concept. We need to do it before he comes. So we talk about all the things we got to do, and then we walk to the end. And while we're walking, 25 people pass us. Why? Because we didn't do what we were supposed to do. As we get closer to the end, we don't let up. That's where the real pressure comes in. That's where we need to give it every single thing we've got. That's where we need to make sure that the vidui we do every day is meaningful, that we know what we're saying, that we know what we're asking forgiveness for, that we know what we've done wrong and what we need to work on. And we're going to continue to work on right up to the last moment and beyond. Because we need to keep doing it not only up to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but beyond. So we need to remember, there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's the end. The end is not a slowdown. The end is a speed up. It's an intensification of everything you've done to this point to bring it to a head, so that when you walk in to the holidays, you don't walk in dirty. You walk in clean. You walk in totally cleansed of all of your averas. You go in there with a clean conscience and a clean soul, and you say to Hashem, I've done everything I need to do, but I'm going to do more today because this is a day that you said I need to do it on, so I'm going to do it again. So remember, my friend, always do that serious cheshbon nefesh before you go to bed at night, so you know what you need to make amends for. Because again, you need to remember, amends to Hashem are not accepted before you make the amends to his children that you may have hurt. So do those first, do his next. You keep on the path, you intensify, you finish at the end, so that you're more than the person helping to bring Mashiach, but you are part of the people who are bringing Mashiach speedily and in our day, and the building of the third Beit HaMikdash, again, speedily and in our day. Bimhei, Ravi, Ameinu, Omein. Have a great week ahead. Be well, my friends.